Hello friends, and welcome to our reflection for this new year. Today is January 1 and we are celebrating the feast of Mary as the Mother of God. We Filipinos are jubilant because this is one of the major festivities in our country, and we as a country loves to celebrate Christmas and the New Year. In fact, we also celebrate the New Year of other cultures like the Chinese New Year and other New Years of other religions. But for us, January 1 is very special because it is really our celebration of the New Year according to our own calendar, as in our secular calendar. Of course, in the church, the New Year has already started with the first Sunday of Advent. What we are actually celebrating in the church today for January 1 is the festivities of the solemnity of Mary as the Mother of God. I have a very fond memory of going to the place where this dogma was first promulgated, and that is in Ephesus. Nowadays, Ephesus is located in the modern country which we are known as Turkey. Of course, we know that before, Turkey is Asia Minor, and many of the events in Christian history, particularly in the first 2 or 3 centuries of the spread of Christianity from the Holy Land, the Asia Minor as a province played a very important role because this is where many of the apostles, particularly John and another one is Paul, concentrated their work. In fact, Paul is from Tarsus, and Tarsus is located on the eastern side of the modern day Turkey. Now, I have very beautiful memory of about 2 years ago of having a kind of a tour as well as a pilgrimage to Asia Minor or to Turkey. And I can remember very well the beautiful open-air museum of what was before the city of Ephesus. If you go there in Turkey and would you like to visit Ephesus, you will find out that it is a large area, an open-air museum where there are many ruins there. And one of those beautiful ruins that we can remember or that we can see there is the library of Celsus. The Colosseum is most probably a place where St. Paul preached against the mob who were already clamoring against him because of his prohibition of the sale and the use of the statue of Artemis. At the time, the making of the statues as a kind of amulet or as a souvenir for those who visit the city by the pagans are actually a lucrative livelihood among the citizens of Ephesus. And so when they learned that Paul said something like it's not good, it's idolatry, and there's only one God, Jesus Christ, the Ephesians, instigated by the leader or by the leading manufacturer of the statues, went into a revolt. And so most probably this beautiful place preserved and nowadays by their colleges is where St. Paul must have probably preached also. But one of the most memorable of all these significant places in Ephesus is the church. Now the church, of course, is in ruins, and I really am happy that I was able to visit this place. And this is where the Third Ecumenical Council, the Council of Ephesus, was held. Now remember, during this time, the Christology is not yet very well defined. I mean, the Christology of the church, particularly as to the nature of the person of Jesus. The Patriarch of Constantinople at this time preached a rather heretical view that there are 2 persons, one divine, the other human, in the person of Jesus Christ. So, according to this patriarch, he was teaching the people there that Mary is only the mother of the human Jesus, but she is not the mother of the divine, the Word made flesh, in other words. So this particular patriarch made a distinction between the human Jesus and the divine Jesus, or the divine Christ. Now this was considered heretical by the Council of Ephesus. And during that council, it was Cyril who played a major role in the promulgation of what was known now as the dogma of the motherhood of Mary as the mother of God. Now, according to this dogma, Jesus is only one person. That is not that there's a human Jesus and then the divine Jesus. No, there's only one person. But that one person has two nature, the human nature and the divine nature. Now again, as our theology progresses, we come to understand this as the hypostatic union. So the hypostatic union tells us that Jesus is one person with two nature. He is 100% divine and 100% human. Our understanding of 50-50 is not correct. That Jesus is 50% human coming from Mary and 50% divine coming from the Spirit. No, that is wrong. Jesus is completely human. At the same time, Jesus is completely divine. So he is 100% human and 100% divine. So how is this possible? Of course, there's a lot of theological explanations that will have to be explored, but that is what the church is proposing to us, and of course as a kind of a mystery. Although we have the understanding, we're able to understand it, but we cannot really fathom the entirety of this particular dogma, wherein we can say that Jesus is one person in two natures, one divine, the other human. So it is inseparable. The divinity of Jesus is when he became man, when the Word became flesh, is inseparable from his humanity. So the divine Word, the Word that became flesh, is inseparable from his humanity. So you cannot say that, okay, this side of Jesus is the divine and this side of Jesus is human. This aspect of Jesus is divine and this aspect of Jesus is human. That is wrong. So because we cannot separate, in some sense, the humanity and the divinity of Jesus, that technically now makes Mary as the mother of God. She is not only the mother of the human Jesus, but she is also the mother of God, because the human is actually the Word. And that Word that became flesh, as according to John's Gospel, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. So the Word made flesh is a beautiful sentence, a beautiful theological statement by John, the evangelist, telling us of the divinity and then the humanity of Jesus, that this divine became human, and we cannot separate that as if it is like having like water and oil, or we can separate, shall we say, water from pebbles or whatever, as if they are kind of a heterogeneous mixture. Of course, it is not. It's really one beautiful reality of the incarnation, the Word made flesh. So here, the Council of Ephesus is not a Mariological in nature. In fact, it is Christological. The problem that the Council of Ephesus dealt with is Christological. Why is it Christological? Because what they were dealing with is not the person of Mary, but the person who Jesus is. Is Jesus God, or is he human? Or is he both God and human? And so, now by defining the nature of Jesus as one person and two natures, divine and human, they were actually defining also as a consequence, the role of Mary. So, because the council tells us that Jesus has two natures inseparable from each other, 100% human, 100% divine. We can now say, therefore, that Mary is not only the mother of Jesus, the human person, but she is the mother of the Word made flesh. And what is that Word? Who is that Word? That is the Word who in the beginning was with God, and the Word is God. So, my dear friends, today, the celebration of Mary as the Mother of God is again a reaffirmation not only of Mary, but actually a reaffirmation of the belief that Jesus is not human only, nor he is God only, but that he is both God and human. How is this reflected now? Or how does it affect now our own time? So what is this all about? I think the one important thing that we can really take note of in terms of our celebration of the New Year is number one, we are assured once again that God became human. That the divine became part of humanity. And as Emmanuel, God is with us, we are being, shall we say, strengthened by that reality that we are not alone. And so we are again being reminded that do not be afraid of the coming year. Of course, whenever we are faced with the unknown, and of course we know that the new year is a kind of an unknown because we are starting something, and that is a very human tendency, that whenever we are starting something, we do not know yet what will be the end, what will happen within the beginning and the end. And so that becomes an uncertain part of life. And so that's why, for example, today, or as we celebrate the new year, many of us will be wearing the color of the year, or maybe wearing red, or will have a lot of food on the table to signify abundance, or having round fruits like oranges and grapes to in a way symbolize prosperity. This new year, the church is offering to us another way of assuring us of that the Lord is with us. So we don't need to be afraid. We are to be confident because God is with us. And of course, if God is with us, who can be against us? No one can triumph against us. No one can defeat us because the Lord is with us. He is Emmanuel. So my dear friends, that's one connotation for our life as we celebrate Christmas, okay? As a kind of a cultural practice, we may want to do all these things like having round fruits, or wearing red, or having a lot of money in our pockets to signify the new year as a prosperous new year, which is nothing wrong about it. But I think we should not lose sight of the essential. And the essential is God is the source of our strength. He is the source of our strength because He became one with us. He is divine in His majesty and splendor, but He humbled Himself and became one with us in the lowly condition of being a child of a poor couple and being born in a manger. So the second connotation that I would like to propose for your reflection for this new year is that Mary, of course now, although as I said, the Council of Ephesus was talking about the natures of Jesus, but what we have here today, January 1, as a celebration, we are focused not, of course, on Jesus, but we are also putting into the center stage Mary. And who is Mary? Of course, she is the Mother of God. But what made her Mother of God is her obedience to the Word. It is the Word of the Father who told her that she will bear the Son of God, and she said yes. I think that sets the direction in the life of Mary. Her yes changed everything. I think that is also true to us. In a way, we are also being invited to listen to the Word and let the Word guide us throughout the year. So, we have two things to bear in mind as we start and welcome the new year. First is Emmanuel. God is with us. God is the source of our strength. And second, the Word, just like Mary, will set the direction of our lives in the coming new year. So once again, thank you very much for your time in listening to this reflection, and I hope that it will edify, it will help you grow in your spiritual life. And once again, Happy New Year to all of you. And I would include you all in my prayers as we celebrate the feast or the solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God. Happy New Year to all of you, and see you again next time.